Hi, welcome to our show. It's called And Where Are They Now? Today we have a really special guest. Her name is Marylin Tucker. She is the wife of Forrest Tucker, or was. Forrest is no longer with us, but she has quite a story to tell us. She's really neat, and I think you're going to really enjoy this. And Marylin, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what your childhood was like, and we'll let you tell the audience.
Well, I was born in Texas in 1939. I'm not embarrassed to say how old I am. But my family moved to California when I was a baby, and I grew up in San Jose. And after I graduated from high school, I moved down here to Los Angeles to pursue a show business career. I was a dancer. And so I started working professionally when I was 15 in 1955, but then moved down here in 57. And worked mostly on the stage. And one of the shows I was in was the National Touring Company of Music Man, and that's where I met my husband. He was the star of the show, and I was the chorus girl. Chorus girl Mary Starr, like a princess story.
What did you think the first time you laid eyes on Forrest?
He was quite oh golly, what I don't know the expression to say, but he was very tall. He was 6'5". You know, he was a very large man, and he had a very large personality. And I was in awe of him. Now, my mother told me she knew I was in love with him from the very first moment, because she said all I did was talk about him, talk about Mr. Tucker. Mr. Tucker did this, and Mr. Tucker did that. Well, I didn't know, but he had eyes for me, and so by the time we opened in August of 1958, and by January of 59, we were living together.
Aw, for shame, for shame.
Yeah, that was kind of back in the days when that wasn't the popular thing to do.
That's right.
But we weren't treated badly or anything because we were open about it. You know, we weren't hiding. So none of the columnists or anything said anything negative. They just, talked about me being on the arm of Forrest Tucker, or his twosome coosome, or goosome twosome, or what, they had these silly little things that they said about people going together. And we actually, though, we lived together for 3 years before we were married. And all that time we were touring in Music Man. And then we got married April 23rd of 1961. And after Music Man, we moved to New York, and then, then we moved to Chicago, and Tuck was doing a radio show, a morning radio show in Chicago that he loved because he was finished by 9 o'clock in the morning. But he would come out to Hollywood to do guest stints on different television shows, and he would tape the different stars that he worked with and whatnot, and take those tapes back to Chicago and play them on his radio show. And he just thought it was a wonderful way to live. He didn't want to move back to Hollywood. But he gets the script for F Troop. And I remember we were in bed, and he was reading it, and he was laughing so hard, he almost fell out of bed. And he said, "Baby, I'm sorry. I gotta go do this. This is just too good to turn down." So we moved back out here, and he did F Troop for 2 years. And from then on, it was mostly movies and guest starring and whatever. He had a couple of other series that didn't do as well as F Troop. And then he passed away in 1986.
I'm sorry to hear that. How did you feel when you were on set with him?
Well, I would say when I worked on the show, I would rather be home scrubbing floors. It was so boring because, all the time it takes for all the setups, the lighting and everything. And then you get up and you work for at least small parts like I had. You work for maybe a half an hour, and the rest of the day you're just sitting around waiting. And I thought it was very boring.
Did your children enjoy going on set with you?
They weren't born yet. They were, Cindy, my daughter, was born in 1966, and my son was born in 67. So they were just babies during F Troop. But they used to go on sets of other shows that he did. And if there was some star that they were in awe of, they liked it. It was fun.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll be right back with another clip, and when we return, we'll be talking a little bit more about what their home life was like. Thank you, Marylin.
You're welcome.